Well, I like coffee. I don't know about y'all, but. Good day, good day. Good day, Namaste. Good to see you all this morning. So I have a poem that I'm going to start out with because I couldn't find a song to sing. Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, not unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged the punishments, the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Hey, right? So we know that poem. That is Invictus by William Ernest Henley. And as I was preparing for this lesson and looking for something to start out with, or a poem or a song or something, because y'all, I struggled with this one. I struggled with this month's key. Because this month's key is see no evil. And I thought about this poem, and when I came across this poem and I read it, and then I heard the song Darling, both of them are a confirmation that no matter what challenges come your way, right? No matter what you're perceiving, no matter what evils, right, you see that you may be enduring, you're beautiful. Don't give up. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. And I thought this was kind of an appropriate time to kind of start thinking about this because we're in the month of June. Can y'all believe that we are in the month of June? We are halfway through the year already. And this is a time when a lot of us start to take a step back, right? And say, okay, wait, the year is we're halfway through it. Let me take a step back and do a pulse check. Where am I at with my goals that I set at the beginning of the year? Where am I at with breaking these barriers that I set at the beginning of the year? Where are you at? Have you taken that pulse check? Are you doing the keys or focusing on the keys for every month that Living Truth is giving you? Are you doing the exercises? Are you committing to the cause? Are you going on the activities that we have? Are you doing all of those things to break your barriers? Let me see a show of hands. Maybe a little bit, some, a little bit, once in a while. Well, here's your chance, right? It's always a good time to restart and renew, right? Start over. So we're halfway through the year, and it's perfect time to kind of refocus and shift a little bit, right? So the key for this month that we're going to talk about is see no evil. And how do we apply that to breaking through our barriers? And the title of my journey is There is Nothing to See. It's only God. Let me repeat that. There is nothing to see. There is only God. And I like to base my speaking on scripture because it just helps to give me something to go off of, right? So the scripture that I am going to quote is from Psalms 34:14, and it says, "Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." And as I've contemplated and volunteered to speak about see no evil, because I volunteered for this, I was like, okay, what do I say about seeing no evil? What do I say about that? And then go always to the definition, right? We bring it to the source. So what is the definition of evil? So first I went to Merriam, and I said, well, Merriam, what do you say about, Merriam-Webster, what do you say about evil? And Merriam says that evil is morally reprehensible, sinful, wicked, an evil impulse. It's arising from actual or imputed bad character or conduct. It's a person of an evil reputation, right? Or it could also be the fact of suffering, misfortune, and wrongdoing, something that brings sorrow, distress, or calamity. And as I read all these definitions, I was like, yeah, that's what evil seems to me, right? Like those made sense of what life brings to us of what we see in evil. But then I thought about, okay, well, I'm talking about see no evil. But I see those things that I just defined. So how do I not see those things that I just defined? So I said, okay, well, let's go a little deeper. Let's go to the metaphysical definition of, because remember, metaphysical is beyond the physical, behind what we're seeing physically. So metaphysically, going to the Revealing Word by Charles Fillmore, says that evil is that which is not of God, an unreality, an error thought, a product of fallen consciousness, negation. So I sat and thought about that, and I said, okay, so evil isn't real. It doesn't exist. It's an unreality. That's what metaphysically is telling us. It's an unreality. It's not real. It's a no thing. So then I started, okay, let me put this in my brain. Because I know I see evil, but metaphysically, it's telling me that this doesn't exist, right? So what am I seeing, and how do I move past the fact that I am seeing no evil? Well, in order to do this, you have to go to the basis, the foundation of true teachings. And the foundation is God is all there is. There is only God, right? There's only this one source, this one power, this one energy, this one presence. God is omnipotent, all powerful, right? Omnipresence, everywhere evenly present. Only one. So if that's the truth, then how the heck can I see evil if there's just this one entity, right? Well, if we're seeing evil, then we're believing in duality. We're believing in something outside of that one source, right? That one power, that one presence. And we have been trained, y'all, to believe that there is something other than this one source. That there is this evil outside of us that is making us do something. Society has driven it in our head, right? This devil. There's a devil out there, right? That's making you do this. Different religions teach us. Society reinforces us. When I was doing these PowerPoint slides, because I had the word evil in it, this little smiley face with these little devil ears kept on coming up as a recommendation to put into my slides. And I was like, I don't want the devil head. That doesn't represent evil to me. But we have been programmed that that is what evil is, right? There is this devil. And think about it. Have you ever seen a cartoon or a movie that has the angel and the devil sitting on the shoulders? How many of you have seen that? Raise your hand. Okay, so almost everybody in here. We have all seen the angel on one side when, that person's thinking of doing something evil. And the angel's on the side saying, oh, don't do it. You're better than that. And the devil's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. See what's going to happen. Go ahead and do it. It's all right. Just go ahead and do it. But when you see the angel and the devil, what do they look like? When you see that angel and the devil, what do they look like? Anybody know? Come on, anybody. They look like the person that they're sitting on top of, right? So you see the angel, same person. The devil, same person. So isn't the angel and the devil the same? Because in the cartoon, look at it, look it off. In all the cartoons and all the movies, it's the same face. It's not a different devil and a different angel. It is you. That reflection is both the devil and both the angel. So how can you be both? Isn't it just one? Don't we just go back to the one source? So if there's this devil on you, isn't that really you? Isn't that really, because that's what the cartoon and the movies are actually showing us, but we don't pay attention to that. We just see the devil over here telling you, da, 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 do this, do this. But the devil is you. And the angel is also you. So in essence, you are tearing your own self in two different directions. It's you. Because remember, there is only one God, only one presence, one power. And we are a part of that one presence and that one power. Think about the ocean. We all heard the analogy of the ocean, right? And God is reference to the ocean and how big and vast the ocean is. And if you take a cup of that ocean and you take it out, and in that cup, is it still ocean? Still ocean. Just not as vast and as big as the ocean, right? So that's what we are. We're pieces of that one source, that one power, that one energy. So if there is only that one source, one power, one energy, then where is that devil? Where is that evil coming in? Where does it come from? So we're not puppets here, right? Because God gave us laws and freedom to work with. So we have the freedom to make choices, to do things that are good or to do things that are evil. But it's all a conscious choice of us because there is nothing but God. And God gives us the universal laws to utilize and move life whatever way we're going to move it, in a good way or in what we see as evil. Evil is brought forth by the power of man through the unuse or the misuse of the law. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of the Mind that evil is the misuse of the law of freedom. The problem of evil will be met only to the degree that we cease doing evil and do good, for evil will disappear when we no longer indulge it. So then again, that brings us right back to the scripture. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Because as long as you perceive that evil or give your attention to it, guess what's coming forth to you? That evil. Whatever you are creating that you are calling evil. Because remember, think about it. Okay, so evil is really kind of a perception. It changes. God doesn't change, right? God is the same. We all may have different ideas, but God is what God is. But evil actually changes. It changes based on your perception. It's not universal. It changes on what you believe in. One person may see something as evil, and you may not see that as evil. Well, then how can that be evil? Or you may be in a place that may do something that you see as evil, but that place over there, that's what they do all the time. Or time shifts our perception of evil. So evil, the concept of it, is constantly changing. How could that be? Because God doesn't change. God doesn't change. So if evil is changing, we're changing the perception of what it is. In the United States, here, we love our dogs, right? Dogs are our pets, they're our family, they're our friends. We love them. But in other countries, they're food. They're food. And we here, we're probably, oh my God, that is so evil. You eat a dog. Oh my God, that is the most evilest thing you could. But in the other country, they like, you playing with your food? It's a perception, right? Like we would perceive that as an evil act. But they looking at us like, why are you playing with your food? It's not evil to them. And at one point in time, having a relationship or being married to someone of the same sex was seen as evil, right? But we have shifted from that as well, recognizing that love is love. And it doesn't matter who you're with, we started to just see God. And we started to see each other as one. Now, of course, you can't control people, right? We can only control ourselves and control what we see and what we perceive. And there are going to be times where there are not so, how do I say it nicely? Nice people, I guess? People who will give us tests, right? Life sometimes tests us with those people that come around us that maybe something that you call morally reprehensible, right? Somebody that through their actions causes you some type of stress or calamity. Their actions are evil. That's what you're seeing. That's what you're feeling. That is what happens. Well, how do you move through that situation? Because you feel it, you see it, you know what they're doing, and still see no evil. So on my journey, on this wonderful journey in truth that I'm taking, because it's a journey, and we all go through it and go through different situations and things that happen. And I have, of course, been faced with some evil, right? I think we all have, right? Ain't no one person in here can say, oh, I don't know what evil is. I can easily see no evil. If you say that, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, right. So I have I was a part owner in a real estate business with my husband. And I say part owner because right now under federal regulations, I can no longer be a part owner of that business. And we used to manage all types of properties. And one of the management pieces that we did was homeowners associations. So we managed homeowners associations. I don't know if y'all live in a homeowner association, but yeah, that right there. That right there. That's why I said we used to manage homeowners association. And it was a small industry once you kind of got into, the industry and into networking and trying to build within that industry. It's a small industry within Atlanta. And we were one of the only, it was another black firm that did this type of management. So we were pretty well known because I also have a very good marketing husband who made sure he was known in every room that we walked into. So we were very well known in this HOA industry, right? And we had a small firm. We had an office manager, a bookkeeper, and it was just me and Ed. And we were managing everything. When you're a business owner, you do everything. And we were at a point in our business where we were ready to grow and expand and get more HOAs. We said, okay, we need to bring somebody in to help us do this. We need to bring a property manager in to kind of manage these day to day, and then bring somebody in to help us kind of sell the business and push the business out. And because we had been in the industry, people knew who we were. And this one gentleman came to us, young man, very charismatic, very, very charismatic, and was well known in the industry. He had actually worked at a couple of different management companies. That should have been a clue right there. That should have been a clue. Should have been a clue. But he came to us and he said, I would really like to work with you guys. I would really like to help you with this business. I really like to help you grow it and establish it. And we were, me and Ed had some meetings and we were like, okay, should we do this? Well, we really need the help. He is kind of known. Maybe he can come in and help us make those connections that we weren't making. Maybe he can fit some of those people that we weren't quite doing. So we brought this guy in, gave him a nice salary, one of probably the biggest salaries we'd ever given, gave him a nice title, gave him his own office. His office actually was bigger than both of ours. And let him run with it. Gave him access to our files, gave him access to how we ran the business. Because we believed that he was going to come in and manage our HOAs and help us grow our book of business. And everything was fine for a couple months. Everything was moving smooth. Then all of a sudden, things started changing. He started changing. There was a shift that happened. He started becoming really argumentative, is probably the good way to put it, with Edward and with the things that we were asking him to do. And we were kind of like, okay, we don't know what this is all about, but he kind of just kept on at it. And then one day it just hit the fan. He had antagonized Edward so much to the point that he wanted to have him fight him. He had done so much that day that he was trying to have Edward fight him. He was pushing it to that point. And what I could tell, and thank God, Edward, thank God. He kept his calmness. We called the police, and the police escorted him off the property because, of course, that was our business. That was where we were, and we didn't do anything wrong, and he was antagonizing the situation. After that situation, of course, it hit the fan at that point, and everything started hitting the fan. We found out all the time that we thought this man was helping us. He was in the background trying to steal all of our clients and our business. He had started his own management company. He had told our clients that we were stealing from them and that we were taking things and that we were this horrible management company. And at the same time this was happening, my wonderful bookkeeper was actually stealing money from our HOAs. So the things he was saying was actually happening, and it looked like we were stealing from our clients. Now, he didn't know that was going on. Maybe he did know that was going on. I don't know. So now of course, we lose our one admin that we had. So now we're in the office, me and Ed, just the two of us. And I just had Imani. Imani was probably a couple months old. So not only have we lost all of our employees, but we're new parents. And I remember going through those days and months, because this wasn't a quick thing. Things like this don't happen, and then all of a sudden you passed it, right? It's time that takes to go through it. And I can tell you during that time, I probably thought that they were the most evil people in the world. And that situation I was going through, I couldn't see God in it at all. I couldn't. I saw stress. I saw calamity. I saw everything that was going on. And I couldn't believe the people that we had developed a relationship would really start thinking about that way towards us. Because we brought in both of these people and we felt like we treated them right. But of course, this guy was out in the industry, very small industry. Y'all know that when you get in the industry, it's pretty small, no matter what industry it is. And started saying our name to everybody. And everybody we thought was actually on our side just started kind of turning their backs towards us because they didn't know. And I don't blame them for that, because if you don't know, you don't know. You can still ask the question. You could. There were some people who knew us well enough that didn't believe that did come. But the people who turned and went their way, they needed to go that way, because that was God moving everybody out of the way that needed to be moved out of the way. Yes, we were in our office by ourselves, trying to manage everything. And yes, the situation did look evil, but God was in the middle of all of it. As I step back and I'm looking at this situation now, I could see how God was in the middle of all of it. I couldn't see it at that time, and I wish I had more clarity of truth at that time, so I wouldn't have been so stressed, so I wouldn't have been going through what I was going through. Thankfully, we had our child, our baby there, that could bring us that joy, that could bring us that, okay, we're going to get through this because we got this little person here that we got to take care of. But it was a constant prayer. It was a constant affirmation. It was a constant feeding ourselves with, this is going to be better. This is going to turn around. There is nothing but God. God is all in this. God is all there is. These evil acts are not going to come against us. And they didn't. Those people used the law inappropriately. The guy who stole our clients from us, he was actually stealing from his HOAs. He was doing what he said we were doing, stealing from clients. He actually took the clients and stole from them and got arrested and then ran out of town. Ran out of town. He is nowhere in Georgia anymore. The woman who stole from us, thank God there is Fidelity Insurance. That's why you have insurance, y'all. Insurance covers things like that. So we had an insurance policy to cover, obviously, our association that lost that money. But that young lady was in accounting. She now has a felony charge on accounting. She can never do that type of work again. She had probation for a ridiculous amount of years. I remember in court, me and Ed were like, oh my God, being on probation that long? It was like 15 or plus. It was a crazy amount of years. But their misuse of the law came back to them in that way. And even as I sit back and go through and look at this situation and be like, could I have saw God and not saw evil in that situation? Possibly. Possibly. It took me to kind of get to this point to look back at it and see everything in that situation needed to happen. Every single thing in that situation needed to happen. If that man hadn't come in and did what he did, it wouldn't have taught us to put the things in place that nobody else could come in and do that again to us. If that bookkeeper hadn't done the things she had done, it wouldn't have had me put the things in place that nobody wouldn't have been able to do that again. So going through the experience, it looked very evil. Those people looked evil. But when I look at them now, I see hurt. I see jealousy. I don't see evil in them, because I hung out with both of these people. We treated our employees like family. We didn't treat them like employees. So we knew these people genuinely, and they knew us genuinely, which is probably why it hurt that they did these things. Because I was like, man, y'all could have just came to us. So I gave you that story because that's a situation that I had absolutely no control over, right? That was one that these particular people, I drew them into my consciousness. I am not going to say that I didn't, because they were there in my space, in my realm, right? So I brought them there, and I brought them there, I guess, for that lesson. But when you're going through those things, it's time to just take that step back and say, there's no evil here, there's only God. There's only God. There's only God. And I remember many times walking through the office with nobody up in there. Okay, there's only God. Probably holding anybody like this. It's only God. It's only God. It's only God. Okay, God. Because we literally, I remember Edward telling me, you just got to take this one day at a time. So sometimes when you're going through those things in those evil situations or distressing situations, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one step at a time, so you can see more clearly. Because when we're in the mix of it, you're seeing the evil, right? You're seeing the calamity come out. You're seeing the stress. Step back from it. One moment. How do I get, okay, see no evil, see God. It's only God. There's only God. There's only one source. There's only one power. If there is only one source and one power, how are you seeing anything else? And if you are, you have to stop. Clear yourself. Step back. Get out of that situation and learn to see God. It's a training. Just like we've been trained to see that devil on our shoulders and the angel on our shoulders, train yourself to say, that's the same dang on face, which is just one source, God, you. So maybe you're not seeing evil in that extreme situation. Maybe somebody not trying to steal your business, right? Maybe you see evil in a coworker, right? You walk into that office and that person is the one you just want to walk the other way. Or for my young people, somebody in your classroom, that meanie, that bully, who just got to say something every time you walk in the classroom. That negative comment. Or maybe it's that medical diagnosis that you are afraid of, but that you keep on replaying in your head. The one you don't want to hear, you keep on replaying in your head. How do we move past that? How do we move past seeing the evil in those situations? Well, the first step is you got to pray and you meditate. Pray and meditate. I think you guys hear that probably from every single lesson that we give you. Pray is talking to God, meditating, stilling yourself, and listening to God. And I found this quote in the Quran. It says, "Oh, dear son, establish prayer. Encourage what is good and forbid what is evil. And endure patiently whatever befalls you, because surely this is a resolve to aspire to." And that is from the Quran, 31:17. I don't know how to say it. I think it's Surah, help me, Surah 17, Surah 31, and then 17. Pray to God that you are only seeing God in the workplace. Pray to God that you are only seeing positivity in the classroom. Pray to God that, don't even pray about the person that is being that nag. Pray and see it differently the way you want to see it. Pray to God that you're going into a work environment that is peaceful, calm, loving. Everybody is open and receptive. Meditate on that. See that. Pray that when you go into the classroom, it is nice people in there. People who enjoy to see you. And those who don't even say nothing to you. Don't even pay attention to you. Pray and visualize and see that in your mind. Meditate and see the positive that you want to see. And it will help you start shifting when we see that perceived evil, for you to be able to easily say, there's only God here. I see no evil. There is only God here. Our second step is to eliminate evil from your consciousness. And I'm saying evil, but I really kind of don't like the word evil. But the negativity, right? Get that negativity from your consciousness. Stop watching things that disturb you. Stop watching things that disturb you. Some people have a habit, and there's nothing wrong if you like this, of watching the news every single day. But they're also freaked out about everything that is going on in the world. The news definitely perpetuates that. I literally don't watch the news anymore. My mom knows that thoroughly, and she will call me if there's something that she feels like that I need to know that came on the news, because she will say to me, my daughter who doesn't watch news, did you know that this happened? And I'd be like, well, if it's important, it'll come on social media. Like when Trump got guilty 34 times. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that until she called me and said, oh my God, he guilty. And I was like, really? Okay, what does that mean? But that's a whole nother topic. But stop like watching that are giving you that fear. Stop putting that in your visual consciousness. Stop reading things that are fearful. Social media. That's a watch and a read, right? Because there's not a lot of reading on social media. Newspapers, books, magazines, anything that you're looking at that gives you that uneasy feeling, stop it. Stop putting it in your consciousness, because it's going in your consciousness. And that's what's coming back up when you start to see evil. So stop feeding your consciousness with that evil. And stop listening to things that disturb you. There can be music, podcasts, all of those things, seeing, watching, hearing. You have to focus on eliminating the negativity out of your consciousness. And it is a work. Like this, everything that I'm saying here is work. I can come up here and say to you, see no evil. Because like I said, this was difficult for me to come to, because I was like, how do you see no evil? I remember calling Reverend Sharon. I was like, I'm stuck. I volunteered for this, and I don't know how you don't see no evil. And she gave me some clues. She didn't give me exactly what to do. She was like, think about it, think about it, think about it. Meditate, think about it. She don't give you everything. Pray, be still. She ain't gonna give you, there you go. She ain't gonna give you the answer. She ain't gonna give you the answer, but she gonna tell you what to do to get the answer. So I did all those things, and here we are. But you have to eliminate it from your consciousness. And this is a work, right? Pray and meditate and eliminating things from your consciousness, because we're trained. Like I said, the PowerPoint slide friggin' put up a devil with ears, because it was wanting me to put that in my slide. No. And the last thing, repeat positive affirmations constantly. That is a way that I've worked with myself, especially when you get in those modes of, I can get real anxious, like real, and I can drive myself to a point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm worrying. Like I can get myself to that point, and I'm sure a lot of you can't, with worry and stress. And when I find myself doing that, I find something to repeat over and over and over and over, to a point that it seems ridiculous, but I'm doing it to move and shift my consciousness from that worry, from that stress, from that fear, from that anxiety that I've just put on myself, because I'm putting it on myself. So I came up with an acronym for evil. Everything visible is lying. Everything visible is lying. Lying. Now you might be like, what? That don't make no sense, Chantell. I don't believe you. This is lying, this is lying. Everything you see in front of you is lying. This is not solid. This is energy, atoms, molecules, whatever all the scientific stuff is, moving really fast to make this solid thing. But it is not this. We are not what we're seeing here. We're light, we're energy. There is something in this nothingness right here. There's something here, but we can't see it. So if you're seeing evil, everything visible is lying. It's lying to you. You are not seeing these things that are here. And I know consciously it's like, what the heck? That don't make no sense. Me and Imani just watched The Matrix the other day. There is no spoon. At the end of Matrix, what does Neo see? He doesn't see the FBI or whatever they are, the computer people. He sees the programming, right? He sees the green and the lines and all of that. That is actually, I can't say we're that, but maybe we are. Maybe the creator of that movie actually saw something in her subconscious. It was a her, right, that wrote that, right? Yes, thank you. Thank you, that's what I thought. In her subconsciousness, that was like, oh, wait, yeah, we are all energy. And she saw it in a way that she brought it out of that movie. But think about that last scene in that movie. How Neo does not see people. He sees the lines and the energy. Well, that is what this is. And that's how we are all one with that one source and that one power. And that's how you can bring things forth, because we're all that like lines of energy, and you can connect with it or disconnect with it, or all of that. And I don't know where I was going with all of that. Outside of the affirmations that everything visible is light. So when you're getting into that point of stress or anxiety, repeating something over and 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 over again until you can shift your consciousness and move around when you're doing it. I gave you one. There is only God. There is only good. Everything visible is lying. There is only God. There is only good. Everything visible is lying. Repeat that with me 3 times. There is only God. There is only good. Everything visible is lying. There is only God. There is only good. Everything visible is lying. With some energy now. There is only God. There is only good. Everything visible is lying. Walk by faith, not by sight. That's what it is. And so it is.
We go. All right, you got me? All right. So thank you so much, Chantell. I'll repeat that again. We have a few announcements. So if you haven't caught on yet, we are changing some things up. So we will currently be having service starting in June this month on the 1st, the 3rd, and the 4th Sunday. And that 4th Sunday is Dr. Rocco. Any questions? All right. So June 9th, no service. Mark that down. All right. And so June 16th, we are having a Men Talk Father's Day. I think I'm invited. Hopefully the invitation still stands. So yeah, we would love for you guys to come out and hear the wisdom of some of the men of the community in reference to Father's Day. As I said, Dr. Rocco will be our 4th Sunday. That will be June 23rd at 11 a.m. And then June 30th, we also will have no service. And we're going to give an opportunity for those who didn't give earlier to give. We have Tithely, 470-243-2191. Text message, click the link, create an account. Or the app that is Cash, $LT365. And we also have Zelle. Zelle, he had some really high-level meetings with the Zelle people. Got it approved. So we do have a recurring payment option if you want to give through Zelle. It is the email livingtruth365@gmail.com. You tap in repeating payment. And then if you need some more detailed information, you can. All right. Moments in meditation. Each and every Thursday, come experience peace, power, and presence. The wonderful Reverend Drea is our facilitator, and I recommend you guys be there. I'll be there. So if you find me on Thursday, 7 p.m., I'll be on Zoom. Dr. Rocco has his newer foundation. They meet on the 2nd Saturday of each month from 1 to 3 p.m., $30 per class. And he also does online classes each Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. With the love offering. To register, email newerfoundation@mail.com, not Gmail. the G was a little expensive, so mail.com. Or toll free 1-888-992-8161, local 678-945-4006. All right, we've been breaking barriers all year, guys. We've been breaking barriers. We had a wonderful call yesterday. So with that being said, we will continue our Friday calls, checking in, continue to hold each other accountable and helping each other break through these barriers for 2024. So we are going out. We are going out, guys. We are going out. So will be at the Museum of Illusions on Saturday, June 8th. Have you guys heard of the Museum of Illusions? Yeah. So it's date night. It's date night, guys. Go on a date with your ministry. The ministry is taking you out. Date morning, date. The ministry wants to take you out. The ministry wants to show you a good time. So definitely join us. We will have a brunch afterwards. That is TBA. Well, so yeah. You're on it, Ty. You are on it for sure. But that has changed. Yes, we had some logistical things we need to work out. So we will be providing the location of the brunch afterwards. And trust me, there will be eggs and bacon for sure. Vegan bacon. I said vegan bacon. They got like tree bark. They got the tree bark and they marinated. That oak, some that oak hickory. So, continuing with our announcements, True Trekkers. We are all about mind, body, and soul in this ministry, in this spiritual center. So we are doing another hike. We try to do a monthly hike. Well, not try. We do a monthly hike. This will be Saturday, June 15th at 8 a.m. Providence Canyon State Park. We would love for you all to join us. All right. And we are still collecting all of your no longer being used computers, electronic items, and also eyeglasses. We are still collecting both. The bins are out in the hallway, so we look forward to you dropping those unused things off. And also, get your repping tee. We are still represented. So you can get those at Calfani Studios at Etsy.com, and some of the proceeds benefit Living Truth 365. And we also have Breaking Barriers merchandise there as well. In case anybody didn't know, we have a website now, livingtruth365.org. Nobody's writing it down. Okay. All right. Photographic memory. Got you. So if everybody will stand up, we'll finish out and close out. I'm going to let Chantell get the final word, but before we do that, we're going to do our Breaking Barrier affirmation. So 2024, breaking barriers. Everybody repeat after me, and let's say it like we really mean it, because we really do, right? We really want to break barriers, right? Okay, all right. There are no barriers in God, therefore there can be no barriers in me. There are no barriers in God, therefore there can be no barriers in me. There are no barriers in God, therefore there can be no barriers in me. And so it is. All right, Chantell, come close us out.
I wanted to close you out with that. But remember, there is nothing to see. It is only God. There is nothing to see. It is only God. There is nothing to see. It is only God. And so it is. Nothing to see. Don't see nothing but God, y'all.